Hey there, everyone. Greetings. It is GleeCon, and I am back again after a couple day hiatus, bringing you another episode of Lore of Warcraft. Thank you so much for tuning in, for joining in, and I hope you're ready to read a little bit more out of this World of Warcraft Official Magazine. On the last episode, we continued to play through Duskwood. We took Erator on a zombie smashing mission, and he just continues to crush it. Literally, literally and figuratively, and he had a pretty good sesh, and we learned some more about what is causing all of this darkness in Duskwood. So we have some connections to Karazhan and the Dark Riders and what's going to happen next. So that's a developing story. Off camera, I'm also catching Callie up so that on our next episode tomorrow, we'll be ready to go with her. In this World of Warcraft Official Magazine, we're now on the first issue of the second volume, so the fifth total issue, the final issue. Last time we read an interview with Frank Pierce, who's one of the original founders of World of Warcraft, or actually of Blizzard, from back in the day, and just kind of what makes him tick and what he's into and what the old days were like. So yeah, here we go. So stay a while and listen. We are now going to read an article called Azeroth Through a Lens. And here we have a few interesting collection. We've got a goblin. We got a Drenna and a love rocket. Someone with like a Lich King style helmet. A Murloc, I mean. A female Tauren trying to be cute, a little human warrior dancing, and we also have a gnome in tuxedo with a chicken. Yeah, we missed a couple days because I was just super busy. I had Tuesday was a really long not Tuesday. My days are blending together. That's how long it's been. Yeah, Tuesday was a super long day where I had to be at work at about 5 in the morning. And then my son had a concert for his symphonic band and jazz band. And by the time I got home from helping, they wanted to use my truck to move all the instruments. Because I just had so many tubas and stuff. So by the time I finished going back and forth between schools, it was probably like 10 o'clock at night by the time I get home. So I was gone from about 5 a.m. till about 10 p.m. And then I had to be back at work this morning by around 6. So I was just beat. And then, no. That day was a regular get there. I don't remember. But yeah, Wednesday, I had to be at work at 5. Then today I had to be there at 6. So yesterday I got there early. I got out at a regular time, but it was I have certain days of the year that are just, I know in advance, they're going to be the hardest days of the year at my job. So I was wiped on that. And then I got home and I was so close. All I needed to do was beat Uber Lilith, and I had platinumed the game for Diablo 4, and I'd just beaten every achievement. So I got home and I was like, yeah, I'll do that. Well, I couldn't one-shot her, so I actually had to learn her mechanics, and it took me like all night, and it was probably like 11 o'clock at night by the time I finally got someone else that could one-shot her first phase to help get me there. But yeah, so Diablo is done. I'll still play it, but now it's going to kind of go on the back burner, and I'm going to try to catch up with retail with that same fervor. But yeah, so that caused me to miss a couple days, but here I am in earnest, and we should be good for the rest of the week, rock and rolling. All right, so it says, what I don't even know what this article is really about, what that means through a lens. It's by Matthew Craggs. It says, when World of Warcraft players sit in the director's chair, the results are worth watching. Technology and money have always acted as the limiting factors of film production and distribution. In Hollywood's early years, studios largely controlled what films theaters would show. When the studio system crumbled beginning in the 1950s, New faces, aided by cheaper and more readily accessible camera equipment, appeared on the screen. And now we're sort of going through the same revolution with streaming. And then digital, and then streaming. The 1980s saw the popularization of home video equipment, and every father became a filmmaker with epics such as Gail's 5th Birthday and Monica's Piano Recital Number 23. In the last decade, the technology has gotten better while the prices dropped, so that camera phones and flip video cams fueled digital outlets such as YouTube. However, the 90s also introduced an even more inexpensive form of filmmaking called machinima, derived from a combination of machine and cinema. Machinima, I've never heard of that word ever, commonly describes films created using recorded video game footage. Earlier popular examples were made in first-person shooters such as Doom and Quake. Later, the smash hit Red vs. Blue used the Halo technology and universe. Originally, these machinimas were simple speedruns through the games, but over time, creators began to add characters and dialogue to tell their own stories with the video games as the templates. World of Warcraft offers players a wonderfully engaging backdrop for comedy, drama, and adventure. Backdrop. Toy boat. Since the release of the game, players have returned Azeroth into a virtual Hollywood lot, expanding, poking fun at, and molding the world to tell their own stories. Stand aside, Spielberg. Hit the road, Hitchcock. These Fellwood filmmakers can teach you a thing or two. All right, so this is neat. So people that use in-game to make their own kind of movies. It's like a baseball game. The AFK players bring the laughs with, clockwise from the left, Mr. Aha's pitching in Major League Azeroth. Wrath of the Couch Potatoes, lovable telezombies. Sylvanas going AFK during Cataclysm. Millionaire, and a machinima-inspired crew shot. Cool. Telezombies. Is that supposed to be like Teletubbies? What's in a name? A made-up pronunciation for a made-up word. Coined by Hugh Hancock, the creator of machinima.com, the term machinima is a distorted contraction of machine in cinema. Its most common pronunciation is machinima, but many argue that machinima is correct. Teldrassil sweet potato, Teldrassil sweet potato. So either way, machinima is wrong. It's either machinima or machinima. Okay. One of the old, it's kind of like GIF versus GIF. Except way less popular because this is like 15 years later and I've still never heard of it. One of the oldest creators of World of Warcraft, Machinima, is a group of Taiwanese friends who formed the production company AFK Players. In 2006, while in film school, John Su, Udi Yang, and Epla Xie decided to enter a World of Warcraft Machinima contest. Their video, Good Morning Horde News, parodied a genre of Taiwanese television, updated the citizens of Azeroth with a humorous commentary on in-game current events. We had the idea when we were playing World of Warcraft together one night, raiding Molten Core, John recalls. Then we found that another night we were gathering together and discussing the script and storyboard just like any of our film and school assignments. The first time shooting in World of Warcraft was really a fun and unique experience. These days, players have access to the WoW Model Viewer, a third-party program that lets you call up any character, item, spell, or movement from the game and manipulate it as you see fit. Back then, AFK players captured all of their footage from the game, which posed some interesting challenges. We had to have a friend work as an assistant to block other players from entering the scene. It's like shooting in real life. Anything can happen during the shooting. In Thrall's Christmas Tree, there was a scene in Theramore that required many Alliance players. Since we are Horde players, it was really scary to see so many enemies on the scene. The guards of Theramore even attacked our leading actress during the shooting. Not to mention everyone on the scene wanted to kill the cameraman and the director. Still, John says that most people were considerate of the fact that they were trying to film the scene, at least until it was completed. They waited around to kill us. Finally, we were killed several times as their paycheck. Rezzed, and then killed again. That's kind of funny. I remember in the water this time, not going to sweat myself out. AFK Players' entry took first place, and they used the news show format for portions of their other films, including two of their most popular pieces, Thrall's Christmas Tree, and Wrath of the Couch Potato. The latter is a collection of hilarious one-liners and vignettes akin to Robot Chicken. The founding members of AFK Players have graduated film school and are currently working on their 10th machinima. With machinimas such as Azeroth Movie Top 3 and Major League Azeroth, their videos have racked up millions of hits on YouTube, and John says that the positive feedback from fans fuels their desire to keep churning out the videos. While AFK Players brought their film school knowledge to the genre, one of the best things about the machinima medium is that it's open to anyone. I'm a complete rookie, says Rob Meadows, creator of a lip dub to Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire, in which his dwarf holy priest, Zodiac of Duraton, US, runs through Stormwind while his guildies pop off the lyrics in chat bubbles. You can see the quality of the video. It's not that great. I didn't hide my UI. I felt bad about that, but it wasn't a professional project. It was just something to have fun with. That actually sounds pretty funny as he runs through and sees those. The video became popular quickly with more than 300,000 hits on YouTube in just a few months, but that was never on Rob's mind. The original purpose was to help recruit new members to his guild, Dark Endeavor. Never in my wildest dreams would I have thought I'd get this reaction. I thought people would drag me across the coals because it was so rough. We Didn't Start the Fire by Billy Joel. Zodiac lends a group of 26 friends in a lip dub of Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire. After he posted it on YouTube to show friends, people started spreading it around. They loved the details and effort it took to execute the machinima. As Zodiac runs through Stormwind, he continually passes his guildmates who take turns saying a few words from Billy Joel's song as the audio plays. It's one continuous shot, so Rob had to make sure the timing and locations were perfect, because if they made one mistake, they'd have to start the whole thing over. It took 3 weeks off and on running around Stormwind to the song, Rob said. I was trying to find out where I was going to start, what was the best route to take, and how it was going to be easiest for people to move from position to position. We had 26 people, so they were going to have to be in multiple positions. When I ran by, they'd have to mount up, run to their next spot. I must have listened to that song hundreds of times, but I wanted to get to a point where I knew the route backwards and forwards. It's kind of like the first boss of an instant. After doing it for 5 or 6 months, you can do that boss in your sleep. After that, I took the song and split it up into small bits of people so people could make macros. When they heard their part, they just hit the macro. Rob worked out the path with the help of some guildmates and then gathered everyone together in lieu of their weekly raid. It took an hour while I gave everyone their positions. We did 2 hours of practice runs going through it and fine-tuning it. Then the 4th hour started serious runs and it got progressively better. We did it 4 or 5 times until we got it right. But while many parts are perfect, notably the 3 druids choreography during the chorus, more than one scene is interrupted by Thomas Miller, Stormwind's wandering baker. That's funny. I've never seen this. I'll have to check it out. This guy. And his cry of fresh bread for sale. As AFK Players would remind us, it's just like shooting a real movie. Mike Bruce brings Mark Aaron Jane's Aquaman Lauren to small screen. Aquaman's Lament. Further embarrassing the aquatic hero. Oh, that's what he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be dressed like Aquaman. That's funny. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Dealing with Thomas Miller is a small price to pay for the ease of capturing your footage in-game. Free video recording and editing programs allow you to stage your scenes in Azeroth and throw them online with minimal effort, but the trade-off is control. When I first started doing these, all of it was footage I captured in-game, says Mike Booth, whose main is Spliffendil of Whisperwind US. As I got better at it, I wanted to tell stories that I just couldn't do in the game. Like Rob, Mike sets his machinima to music, mostly Jonathan Colton songs, released under the Creative Commons license. If the type of video I was making was about a character talking to another character in their adventures in World of Warcraft, they'd be easy to capture in-game, but because my stuff comes from outside of the game, that doesn't work for me. Mike relies heavily on the WoW model viewer, a tool he praises not only for the freedom it allows him as a machinima maker, but also for what it says about the community when people love the game so much that they create an application just to play around with the models. The WoW model viewer contains an entire database of items that the user can manipulate, animate, and record. With this flexibility, Mike was able to bring parodies of DC Comics characters into the Warcraft universe for his machinima music video to Mark Aaron James's Aquaman's Lament. With Aquaman's Lament, the point with those characters was to make them recognizable, so I needed to determine if it was possible to make Aquaman with World of Warcraft armor, and I looked through every possible combination in the WoW model viewer until I found the look. Finding the right armor combination for Aquaman took Mike close to an hour, and then it took another few hours to clothe the other heroes. I never say, look, here's Flash, here's Wonder Woman, here's Green Lantern. That's probably Flash. But people watching it know who those characters are supposed to be. You'll notice there's only one villain, Lex Luthor, in the video, and that's because I could only figure out how to make one villain. You have a bald guy, and everyone knows who that is. I could have done Gorilla Grodd, but everyone would have thought it was Code Monkey. Making machinima. Here's a couple sidebars. 8 easy steps to making your first machinima. Need help making your first machinima? Follow these easy steps for inspiration. For further information, there are extensive online guides to help you master the WoW model viewer and recording and editing programs. Step 1, form your idea. It's a gorilla back there. Mike Booth thinks every machinima maker should ask, why will someone want to watch my video and not someone else's? Your video can't be your character and a friend's character saying, let's go to Ironforge. Okay, we're here. Now let's take the Deep Run tram. You're making something you want someone to enjoy consuming. Step 2, plan out your idea. AFK players write scripts and storyboards while Rob Meadows spent hours determining the optimum positions for his guildmates during his filming of their We Didn't Start the Fire bubble dub. Step 3, choose whether you're going to capture all of your footage in the game or if you'll require WoW model viewer code, blah, blah, blah. The WoW model viewer requires you to create and animate your characters so you'll have more control over the scene, costumes, items, and character appearance, but it also takes significantly more time to pull together. Using in-game footage, you're limited to the items in your bank and the characters or monsters you can interact with for your story. If you'll be using the WoW model viewer, follow path A, if not path B. Okay. Path A, or step 4A, build your characters, then clothe and equip them. So this is if you are using the model viewer. You can even upload your own tunes from the armory. Use a green screen background for easy editing later. Play around with the animations. Don't forget to save your creation as you go. Repeat this for every character in the story. Step 5A, film each character's role in the scene separately. You'll bring them together in editing. Step 6A, in World of Warcraft, take a screenshot or video capture of your background. Follow the directions in Step 5 to obtain a clean image. Both PC and Mac offer free editing programs that will cover the basic requirements. Adobe Premiere and Adobe After Effects offer extensive editing control for a price. You probably could use other things now. I do remember using After Effects back in the day for stuff like this. Step 7A, edit your film. Bring the character animations over to the recorded background. Add a dialogue track or music, and add credits. Path B, so this is creating in-game. Step 4B, move everyone into place. Make sure everyone knows their role. Consider assigning someone to watch out for wandering NPCs or players. Prepare your recording program. There are many free programs available, such as Fraps, Fraps.com, or GameCam, GameCamPortal.com, that will record the action on WoW Model Viewer or World of Warcraft. Or you could do like I'm doing, any kind of screen capture program. If you play World of Warcraft on a Mac, you can use the built-in video recorder. Step 5B, film the scene. You can zoom in to obtain a first-person perspective, and hitting Alt-Z will temporarily hide your UI. Remember, anything that's visible in the game window will be recorded. Step 6, edit your film. Cut any bad takes, add a dialogue track or music, add credits. Final step, upload to YouTube, machinima.com, or warcraftmovies.com and pat yourself on the back. You're a filmmaker. Leroy Jenkins, still running into the thick of things. Not all machinima is scripted. One of the first World of Warcraft machinimas to gain widespread exposure featured an overzealous paladin unexpectedly leading his raid group to their deaths while screaming his own name, Leroy Jenkins. After 6 years, the video has more than 23.5 million hits on YouTube. I'm sure it has 10 times that much by now. The player behind the phenom, Ben Schultz, went on hiatus during Wrath of the Lich King, but he since has returned to once again play under the infamous moniker. Some people hate the video, and some people love it, Schultz says. In the beginning, I had a few e-stalkers, people who waited for me to log on and then would just follow me around to see what I would do. These days, Schultz said he mostly just has people ask him and his guild pals for life to make another video. My friends and I talked about it, and we decided that what happened with that one was pretty unique, and I don't think anyone else will ever reflect its success. In terms of machinima, it is what it is. Still, the legends of Leroy's antics live on in the achievement Leroy, in which players must kill 50 rookery whelps in Upper Blackrock Spire in 50 seconds. The coveted Jenkins title awaits those who succeed where Leroy failed. Ironically, Schultz explained that since this achievement was implemented and became popular during his hiatus, the real Leroy doesn't have the achievement. I thought it was really neat when I learned about it, but I haven't really gone for it. Now I just think it's more humorous that I don't have it. Even if he doesn't have the achievement, at least he has chicken. Another sidebar, Rise of the Machinimas. BlizzCon's 2010 Machinima Contest winners offer insight into their works. Some of the people we saw on the cover part of the article. The grand prize is The Rocket of Love by Jeffrey Kuiper in the Netherlands. Jeffrey's comedic love story took top prize by keeping it simple. A gnome wakes up, Jeffrey says, sees the love of his life through the window, and eventually he woos her with some clever engineering tricks, and by wiping out the competition with a big explosion. His third Machinima Contest entry, this story is actually the prequel to his Wish Upon a Gnome series, which shows how the romance ends. I just needed to figure out how it began, and it kind of snowballed into the finished movie. First runner-up, Mafioso Swing, by John Wegstedt in Sweden. I'd watch some of these videos. Combining three unrelated elements, a mob movie, a musical, and the Horde. Johann's Machinima is a film that could screen in Disneyland or Desolace. The story follows mobsters who are trying to adjust to the changes throughout Orgrimmar when they receive some musical encouragement from the goblins, just one of many Cataclysm influences the artists drew on. My co-creator Jonathan Hoffeling and I, Johann says, decided that we wanted to give the audience something new. The Machinima created during Cataclysm's beta uses in-game footage and the WoW model viewer to take viewers to the Lost Isles, riff on archaeology, and show off an Orgrimmar overrun with goblins. Second runner-up, I Am Forsaken by Gary Labine of the Netherlands. These are all European to win. The only dramatic winner, Gary's Machinima, is a fan favorite for its darkly psychological story of a Gilnean apothecary who loses everything he had. Gary explained in a recent interview, moving to Lordaeron for a fresh start, Lucius Grayson finds himself within the walls of the famed capital city during its final moments. The apothecary soon discovers that everything he cherished, family, love, and life, is nothing more than a memory. Gary's inspiration came from role-playing fanatics steeped in lore, but his advice is universal for every Machinima maker. Practice, practice. Experiment, experiment. Food, practice, practice. Experiment, and be original. Bob. Gammon proves you don't have to be a genius to participate in AFK Player's hit game show Cataclysm Millionaire. Alright, so back to the actual article. Best known for his Machinima set to Colton's Code Monkey, Mike relies on the WoW model viewer to get the look and feel of the songs just right. Jonathan Colton is very good at creating characters, so you get a very good sense of what the character is like, whether it's a well-meaning idiot or a spiteful jerk. World of Warcraft also does a good job with characters. Dwarves are well-meaning idiots, and Night Elves are spiteful jerks. Mike's goal is to build on the foundation of the original material from both the song and World of Warcraft. I never want to make a shot-for-shot translation of a song and put it on the screen. That'd be boring for me. If in the song he lifts a cup and I have a guy lift a cup, that's boring. What I try to do is tell a story that reveals layers that aren't expressly in the song. Aquaman's Lament talks about Aquaman's trouble with Vicky Vale, liking Batman, but there's enough ambiguity to it that I get to add my own stuff to it. I've done my job if it keeps you interested for the 3.5 minutes that you have to be interested. That's all you can expect out of the internet. Yeah, Reed's the guy who makes 2-hour videos. Whether it's a Machinima dressed as a music video or a 10-second joke, at the core it's always a story. Nothing is as important as getting an awesome idea up there, says Yun Falkenstein. She created the Snacky's Journal Machinima series, 2 episodes of which won grand prizes at BlizzCon's 2007 and 2008 Machinima contests. In addition, she's worked on numerous animated features films, such as a storyboard artist, and she directed Disney's The Tigger movie. Oh, that's cool. For people like me who are more into storytelling and characters are not really visual artists, you can quickly tell your story with a Machinima. Not only does she know a thing or two about Machinima storytelling, she also knows speed. At the 2010 48-hour film project, in which participants have only 2 days to create a film from start to finish, Yun's World of Warcraft horror film The Lake took home multiple awards in the Machinima divisions, including Best Film. The The story follows a journalist sent to uncover the chilling secret behind a community's longevity. The horror element is a little more Twilight Zone in style. Part of that is because of the time constraint, and part of it was a style choice. You have to have a big monster show up at the end, but until then we wanted people to have a feeling of dread and then have the big reveal. Yun credits part of her success to the source material. The design of the world is amazing. From the animation style to the backgrounds, I think Blizzard did one of the best jobs in color, world design, and dynamic themes. Most of the machinima was captured in-game, but she did edit in the climactic monster from, Model Viewer, because we just didn't have the time to go from raid and go form a raid and film a boss fight. Forget Hollywood and Bollywood. The new movie capital of the world is Duskwood, with the rich characters, backdrops, and culture that World of Warcraft has to offer. Expensive equipment, studio moguls, actors, sets, and costumes no longer limit your imagination. All you need is an idea and a plan. Just think of it as playing dress-up with Barbies, except Barbie is a blood elf brandishing a wicked axe and the gigantic flame-spewing dragon who just destroyed her Malibu beach house. Alright, so that's cool. This next thing's called The Sound. Let's see how long we are. Yeah, it's kind of a tidbit of a long one. We're still on the long videos. All right, I think I will get us there, caught up with a couple long ones later. But I have a couple. We're still in the midst. It's Thursday, still in the midst of a busy stretch. This week and next week are busy for me before I go on holiday. So rather than tack on another 20, 25 minutes, I think we're going to wrap here and we'll pick up the sound one next time. These are all combined. We're cutting ourselves a little short. I'd like to be one more to two more articles further than we are now, but it is what it is. We enjoyed the journey. Thank you. We're going to call this one another episode in the Pipe 5x5. Thanks, everybody, so much for watching and for listening. I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you all next time on the next episode of Lore of Warcraft. Adios.